Hello, everyone. This is Stanley McCoy. Uh, this is my Project 3.0 presentation for the 9 Square box. My project is basically an elevated platform, and so I'll get right into it. Let's take a look at the ideas for the sketches first. So I'll share my screen here. All right, so when the assignment was given out, we were asked to sketch just some rough ideas. So I began uh, trying to sketch out some boxes um, and some just volume space in boxes through spaces and just trying to come up with ideas, not having really any real idea of where I wanted to go with the project. Um, as you see here in this three square box, you can see there's a ramp here, and that was kind of something I knew that I wanted the platform to be slightly elevated, as you can see in this iteration. And there was going to be some type of ramp to obviously gain access into the structure. As we went further along and more iteration work, uh, just trying to again come up with an idea and a theme for the project. I knew that there would be a center, something in the center, and everything would kind of emanate from that to kind of balance the space. Started having ideas of a planner box, which did make it to uh, the final edit, and just trying to throw out ideas. I did play around with an idea for a dissolved wall where it started to crumble. You can see that in this space, but I wasn't able to work that into this project on this one. As the process went on and the idea started to take shape, I envisioned it being almost like a deck with wood slats. I knew uh, wood slats and plantings and kind of a tropical vibe would be what led to the progress in this project. So again, just kind of thinking of a roof space, a three-sided, a four-sided structure with handrails along all edges, the center planter box in the middle, and then just trying to take ideas from there. And then as I got further in the process and received some feedback from our instructor, she sent some links to some videos, or I'm sorry, some images to take a look at. And in some of those images, I started seeing some elevated platforms, and I thought that would be really cool, just to do something different and add a level, and maybe possibly do something under the structure as well. Even though I know this was a one level project, so I didn't go and really do anything on that bottom level, at least not at this stage. I'll open up Rhino just so you can kind of see an idea of where the project ended up being. Um, so I did make it an elevated structure with the access on the right-hand side instead of on the front of the building. I'm trying to rotate it here so you can get a better look. Actually, I'll open this up. So the access is on the right side of the building. You can go up either side of the stairs, and then you'll work your way around the structure. The Once we get into the floor plan, I'll talk more about this, but the main theme of this project is to be adaptability and changeability. So the owner of a structure like this would be able to actually tailor each space to however they feel in the moment. It doesn't have to be a static situation. It could be a dynamic situation. I'll try to open up the beams here so you can take a look and see more what I'm talking about. So each of these kind of walls, they are intended to be mobile. So you see the yellow one here, another yellow one here, and kind of I guess this would be like a bright fuchsia. I'm not sure. But these are all intended to be mobile so that, and even this box here is mobile. So the owner would be able to slide this, back to this space or even move this closer or cut off space here. These could slide back and the the overall idea here is that, like I said, the owner is able to kind of make the space work for however they want to, and it doesn't have to be the same thing on every day. All right, so with that, I'll just get into the presentation InDesign document. All right, so the mood board for this project, I knew I wanted to incorporate a good bit of wood and the idea of vertical 2x4s spaced closely, but still allowing enough to see out of the structure really appealed to me. So as you can see, I'm across on my vision board. There are quite a few structures that are set up that way. And I will tell you that took a lot of work to do in Rhino, and then to render it down. If I'd known that from the beginning, I probably would have done less of that just because of the time factor. I love the way it looks, but it just takes so long to render down each of these slats. But again, I knew I wanted a lot of vegetation, tropical vegetation, kind of banana leaf like, orchids, and kind of a Zen space as well. So wherever it's located, it's meant to be a place of peace and quiet that one could go to and just reflect and kind of get away from it all. So here we are at the floor plan. And like I said earlier, kind of the way it lays out. So each of these gray kind of rectangle lines, those indicate that it's a transversable space, meaning that you can go through the space. So imagine you coming up the stone walkway here, come up the steps, and you decide to take a left. You come up the stairs, and then you come down this corridor. So you can't go to the right. That black line indicates where you can't walk through, but you can go forward. So you've moved on to the next one. You can move through here, and so right, you can see how it goes. Kind of somewhat guiding occupants through the space, but also allowing them to kind of decide how they want to occupy the space. There are two spaces. There are actually, well, one space is closed off, and I kind of took that from the program, a list of programs that we had, where one of the options was open or closed space, and I just thought that would be interesting again because the owner of this space, the occupant, can decide how they want to place the walls and form the layout. So there's a bit of dead space here just to show that if you wanted to have some dead space there, it's not accessible, but mainly because we had that in the programs that I wanted to show the way to do that. But again, this is transversable. So you can go through this box, but it's the only way into this space. These three circular objects here are actually planners, and I'll point those out on other images or other elevations. But again, the planner vases are meant to be movable. So the occupant could choose to place these anywhere or leave them where, you can't have access to a space, or you can have access to a space. Again, it's all dynamic and based upon the occupant. So these are the front and back elevations. This is the front elevation at the top. You can see that, again, some of these cutouts are static structures. They aren't movable, such as these two, kind of the light brown, but that just blends in with the rest of the structure. Here at the bottom of the image, we have the rear elevation. And you can see the 2x4 slats going horizontally on the ends and vertically in the middle, just to offer some transition. Like I said, the platform has space beneath it. And so it's a space that can be designed in the future. Again, because this was a one-level project, I didn't want to do too much detail there. This gray box in the middle is actually the planner box. And so there is a design option to actually put some type of fire pit here that would, if you wanted to turn the middle upper level into a fire pit, so that you could have actually a dual fireplace. But right now it's just a planner box, and it extends down to the foundation of the structure. Here are the left and right elevations of the structure. At the top here, we have the left elevations, and you can see that the structure is cornered by the cedar post, and you can see the planter bases here in this cube of the space. And you see the stone work at the columns. The idea is that this is in some kind of tropical or jungle or exotic environment. So you see the mountains, or the hills, I should say, in the background. I'll take a step back. As you notice, one of the images didn't have. So this is the rear view of the structure. So there are no hills in the background of this view, because you would the intention is that you're viewing out towards the ocean, right? So everything it's surrounded by hills on three sides, and then there's the ocean view or the sea view out the front of the structure. So this next page is the section detail. This is the full section detail. I just took the left side of the building and I split it down the middle. So you can see how participants or occupants would occupy the space. This is the left side, the most left, that corner, the most left cube in that space. It's meant to be a space of solitude and quiet. As you can see, the young lady sitting with her legs crossed in a meditative position, just a just meant to be a tranquil and quiet space within the structure. Here in this image, so this is the right section, the right side of the building. This is the middle cube. And I extended the view just a bit so you could have some context of what that space is. Basically, this is just the stairs. So it's an up and down space. It's a transitional space that our two occupants are, one is sitting at the top of the stairs, the other one is on his way up. Here is, again, this is our last section detailed, and this is the left side as well. And this is actually meant to be the middle where the young man is sitting, and he's across from the planter box. That's the space that this view shows. But again, for context, I widened it up just so you could see and understand the context of the space, with the chairs actually straddling two cubes, which is why it was widened out somewhat. All right, here's the isometric of the project, and you can see it's been rendered down. And I took off a bit of the beam roof so you can actually see what's going on inside the structure. This is the southwest isometric view. I chose the southeast view as well. This is the one where you can see the stairs of access. And again, showing how one could walk through the space and enjoy the space. You can see if one came here, they'd be blocked off by the planter boxes. So again, many options to choose, and this is just one way to do it. All right, so for our section perspectives, obviously we chose the same three detailed perspectives, and this is just a perspective rendering of them. All right, so for our sketches, part of the assignment was to choose a recipe, and I believe that the instruction said at random, so I certainly chose this one at random, but I'll tell you what, I love beef stew, so I'm going to make this recipe. I intended to make it today and share the results in this presentation, but I didn't quite have time to do it. Maybe I'll share it on one of our Fun Friday discussion boards. All right, this concludes the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate any feedback you were willing to give. I will just say this was a very thorough project. I enjoyed it very much. I learned a lot from Project 2 and was looking forward to starting this one. And I was not as pleased as I could have been with Project 2. It opened my eyes, made me realize that I needed to step up my efforts a bit more, and I hope that it shows on this one. I'm really proud of this project and looking forward to continue and grow and become better at this whole process. Thank you very much.